Yeah. Welcome to the space where the real gets heard, where culture lives, and we just shoot the breeze.
Welcome to Shootin the Breeze, where the conversations are real, the laughs are loud, and nothing is off limits. I'm your host, Queen Mouse. I'm here with my illustrious guests. We have Big Pick, Baby Girl AD, It's Jesus G, and Smart Kid Mario. And today we're getting into some things. So sit back, relax, and let's shoot the breeze. For today's topic, we're talking about what is Black culture in 2026. So I want to challenge the idea that Black culture is one specific thing. I want to explore how it has evolved over the years and pretty much what it encompasses. So let's talk about
Mm,
that. Whoever wants to
okay.
go first.
I
That's
would
a
say
loaded
for me,
question.
Black culture. So you under the presence of it being one thing, just one total thing, or is it?
No, no,
I thought that's what you just said.
no. I said I want to challenge the idea that it's only one thing. Because some
Oh,
people
Okay.
think it's
okay,
only one specific thing.
Okay. So
okay.
it's absolutely not one thing. Because Black culture, basically just like any general geographical area, it depends where you're from. Because you have Southern Black culture, Northern Black culture, Midwest Black culture, West Coast Black culture. Then you can go overseas. You have the motherland Black culture, the island Black culture. It just depends.
True.
Do you think, Mario? Do you think it's that vast though? Do you think because some people from overseas don't, skin folk? They say skin folk ain't kinfolk. They don't consider
Yeah.
themselves black. So like
100.
if
Okay.
you go, the only people that I've connected with that consider themselves black is European, like people in the UK, France, stuff like that. But there's especially on the mainland, they don't feel like that. They don't feel like that's disrespectful to call them black. Even like they got people in Greece, like you'll say black, they're like, nah. They'll tell you the exact bloodline. They won't. I don't. I listen. We know what it is because of you say black culture is synonymous with ghetto hood,
Mm,
Hmm.
but that has always been pushed to the front in media. That's a small, very small piece of our culture. That's not most black people are like us, you know,
right.
educated, you know, good personality, smart, protective. Everything about black culture isn't hood or ghetto. So that's why you have people, especially, look, you look at islanders, Jamaicans, Haitians, like you cannot call them people black. They won't
Right.
let you do it. So while Mario is telling the truth, it is, you know, where you from, the region. It's all different. But overseas or anywhere else, they all looking at it as one people, like black. And they don't want to be that. So
And I mean,
Mhm.
speaking to that, because I do agree, because I feel like the term black is an Americanized terminology.
I agree with
Um,
that.
Hmm.
so if you call somebody black, it's generally just, in my opinion, like North American black. That's just black.
Yeah, I
Because
agree with
like
that.
you
I
said,
agree.
like people from Africa, that like you said, they're gonna name their country, their bloodline, the Caribbeans, because I have personal experience. G can speak to it. Um, they
Oh,
speak
we
about the
got we
country.
got a lot of experience with that.
Yeah.
We got a lot of that.
Mm,
But yeah, like they're very proud of their heritage, and they to
Hmm.
their heritage like black, because black is just a general American. Like if you go, you're not
Hmm.
gonna see somebody be like, yeah, I'm black, African American. It goes hand in hand.
mhm.
Agreed.
Right. I would just chime in and second that. I feel like Black culture is constantly evolving. Um, I feel like Black culture is constantly being copied. amongst a lot of different other cultures. Some access to Black culture, I feel like, is being freely given nowadays, because I feel like we as a people are just like freely giving access to our culture sometimes, and we don't even think about that a lot. Whereas a lot of other cultures are more protective of their customs and things. So I feel like other people feel like they can borrow from our culture without asking for a lot of different things. So it evolves, naturally because of a lot of other outward influence, positives and negatives to that, but I feel like also, again, the terminology Black has gotten misconstrued throughout history because of a lot of people just using it for their own gain. They want to borrow the term Black when it's convenient to them. And I feel like that's an unfortunate reality that Black Americans have to deal with because people from the Caribbean or the islands or, Africans want to borrow Black culture only when it benefits them. So I feel like that's part of a struggle that, FBAs have to deal with, often.
They want the rhythm, but they don't want the blues, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Exactly.
I definitely agree
Well,
with that.
I would like to see us. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I agree with what baby girl's saying. And I for one would love to see more gatekeeping, but I also think that we're not as pressed to gatekeep because we always inventing stuff. We always setting new trends. We always
Right.
making things anew. Whereas some people other cultures that gatekeep, they got to hold on to the little bit of shit they got. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like we always making new stuff, new dances, new fashion. You know what I'm saying? We
Hmm.
make stuff that people look at it like I wouldn't do that, and we make it cool. Like
Right.
we the
Mhm.
vibe checkers of culture.
Hmm.
Black
That's a
people is
fact.
the vibe. We set the tone. We the standard.
Exactly. Hmm.
When the
We're the
last time you
blueprint.
seen another culture just come up with something and everybody else follow it? No, we do that.
True.
Never.
Right.
So
Hmm.
go ahead, Mario. I'm sorry about that.
I know, like I'm just saying, I agree. And agreeing to you, we don't gatekeep. Like just to give out examples, we're not gonna go too deep in these examples because it can get messy. So for instance, RDJ and Tropic Thunder, Black people found it funny. We didn't really care. And
Hmm.
then and we're gonna flip that to the other side. More recently, we all saw Drewski video. And what happened there?
Bruh.
See,
People got
but the
upset.
thing with Drewski is though, he's half white. So is he
Hey,
really poking fun when it's his own culture?
They ain't seeing that. Now come on
they
now.
don't care. It's all about
Come on
presentation.
now.
It's all about presentation.
Who you gonna tell? Who you gonna tell that he half white? You saying that now? That's news to me. Like
See, I didn't find that out because when he was starting to get flack, he showed a picture of his family and his grandfather is white. I don't know if which one it is, if it's his mother or his father, but he looks exactly like his white grandfather, but just with the tan. He looks exactly like this man, and he made sure to show a picture of himself with his grandfather so they could see. Like, I'm talking about my own culture, so you can't like try to cancel me because of this.
They don't care.
yeah.
They only have so much that they can hold on to. So that we're not gonna say no names or no specific demographic, but they can't.
Hmm.
They got raisins in the potato salad.
Mm. Cranberries in the mac and cheese. Hey, listen. I don't know
That's
what's
just
going on,
that's wrong on
Blasphemy.
so many levels. I've heard about strawberries and collard greens.
man.
That's
Carrots and
Blasphemy.
spaghetti sauce.
that's
Bruh,
just
fruit,
wrong
No.
on so many
coke,
levels of
all
wrongness.
kind of stuff, man. Man,
Yeah.
Mhm.
don't start talking about the cornbread. They put anything in that. But
Oh no.
listen, I'm gonna
Dang.
just
Fruit.
say this: it most of us have, you know, Caucasians in our family. It's not a secret. Most of us,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
part of being Black American.
some people date, outside. Nobody cares, but
Yeah,
Hmm.
of course.
when you start to offend people, they box you in. You don't get to play both sides when you start offending people. So my thing is the thing, and this is not this type of episode, but it's just like when we go down this road of race or offense or gatekeeping of cultures. Our people, I'm gonna say this. My beef is with our people who complain about the things that go on in this country when you know how this country was formed. That feeling is not going anywhere. People say, well, it's 2026. Why it's still like this? Because that's the foundation. If a house is built on a foundation, you can change everything in that house. You can paint the walls, you can change the roof, you can put a pool in the backyard, but that foundation stays there. And if it's a bad foundation, nothing changes.
You're right.
Nothing changes. So Drewski, he can have 3, 4, 5. His grandma, his on both sides could be white. They don't care. We just had a president years ago who half white, half black. What they say he was? Did they say he was a white man? No. So
they don't even let him claim American. They like, oh, he's African.
He's an immigrant. He
ain't never been to Africa, but he African.
His birth certificate was forged.
That's just wrong.
Hey, some of the stuff we heard with that is just crazy, man.
That's messed up.
Okay.
But I just wanted to add a little tidbit to the Black culture thing. Go ahead, Mario.
No, I say it's all about the presentation. Because there's plenty of biracial people out here that present like skin tone wise as black, and you don't see any white people claiming them unless they do something very significant. And then
sure.
I mean,
Tiger Woods.
That's where I was going. I was about to say, look at Tiger. The first, he just got a DUI. He just got a DUI. And you want to know one of the first people that spoke up and said he's a very good friend? The good old man sitting at the White House.
That's crazy.
One of the first people saying we're very good friends. He was just having a bad day. He wasn't in his right mind. But hey, I'm gonna just let that sit there.
Okay. I just wanted to add a little smidgen to the what is Black culture aspect, because I feel like Black culture is like, just picture a huge pot full of things, because it's in our foods that we eat, it's in the clothes that we wear, it's in our general, just the swag, the way we present ourselves, it's in the music that we've made, because a lot of our culture essentially is American culture. We built this country. This is our country. Some of us were here before any ships ever came here. Absolutely. We're the foundations of this country. So Black culture in its essence is American culture. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's the pill nobody want to swallow though. You can't and you know what's crazy about that? As much as you can lay it out there and prove it and show that that's what it really is. Not only do one demographic of people disagree, all the other ones, they all get together in the line and say, no, that's not true. That's not it. So, it's just something that you got to know. It's just something that you just got to know. Just take it with you when you go out every day into the world.
Yeah, true. I agree with that. So with knowing all of that, is Black culture something that we defined, or is it something that the world defines for us?
We define it. And use the perfect reference. Like, we can go back to food. Like, you give anybody in Black culture that's Black random ingredients, we can put it in the pot and make it taste good. That's Black culture right there in essence. You give us any type of resource, no matter how little, no small, just like when you brought us over here, we're going to make it work. We're going to find some type of way to make it new. And then, of course, I wouldn't say it's defining. We kind of define everybody else's culture whenever they take from us. Like, it's cool because they doing it and we can try to make it cool. No, y'all just following us. In essence, you just don't know it.
Let's talk about Tinderism.
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Because Buddy was really just a mascot if you think about it.
He really was, and that was really sad.
He was being used as a mascot, but he created all it.
Yeah, I mean, it
Mhm.
was good he got his copyright, but for somebody to create a whole business out of it and have people coming in and like, where did the white man come from? That's all I'm saying. Where did the white
Yeah,
man
because
come
he
from?
wasn't the original owner of that business, I think. I think the original owner sold it to him, but the black guy had been there for years. He might have worked at that place for like 30 years. What he
So
Yep.
should have
what?
did was, which is another problem in the black community, was try for ownership. Why you want to be the worker when you can own? Especially all the
Mhm.
recipes and stuff are your personal recipes. Why aren't you trying to own that business? So when the other guy sold it, you should have been trying to get that business from him because it essentially was on his back anyway. But he was fine with being a yes, massa, whatever you say. And that's the type of person he is. And he really gives me Django vibes and he upsets me. I don't really want to
Mm,
talk about him because
mm,
when the whole tenderism thing came about, Keith Lee, who was a food critic, he came to him and tried out the food and he was like, "This is amazing," and he wanted to give him this huge tip and stuff like that. The black guy wouldn't accept it because I think he had went to the back or whatever. The owner, he was pissed because he was like, "Why didn't you want to give the tip to us? He wants to give it to you because he made all the food. He's the one who was hosting him
mhm.
the whole time. He showed him the hospitality, so he wanted to give it to him because he single-handedly made all the food." Okay, he didn't give him the tip. This put a nasty. This was started the ball rolling. It put a nasty taste in the guy's mouth. Jordan the Stallion, who's also like a food criticky person, he
What?
went there too. He's the one who started the whole tenderism thing. You don't know Jordan the Stallion? He's always with different celebs making food and things like that.
Is he related
And
to Brandy?
no, he's not related to Megan.
Okay.
It,
He does a lot of lookalike things. Like
Then
you'll
what's
see
the
him with
problem?
mm,
Method Man, with Michael B. Jordan, things like that. And he makes
mm,
Oh, I
food.
know you're
He's
talking
the one
about.
who
The
started
Yeah,
the
dude
whole tenderism. It
throwing
was
his
that
glasses.
video. Yes, he
yeah.
throws the
the one
glasses.
that
Oh,
throws the
Exactly.
glasses. Yeah,
that's what
okay,
they
okay.
call him?
Yeah.
Jordan the
I
Jordan.
didn't,
Stallion?
I
Yes,
didn't know he
that's
was
What
a
is
his
stallion. I
name.
didn't know he was a stallion. No, I didn't
Well,
know nothing about
traditionally, stallions usually are men. It was funny
it's
that
well,
Megan
yeah.
called herself that.
But I
Called
didn't
Well,
know they
herself that.
called
it's
him that.
stupid.
I
yeah.
didn't
And,
know.
and,
Why do they call him
and
that?
He called
why
himself.
he called that would be the question.
Hey,
And,
bro, that's
and
not a question. Don't answer that. We
I
don't
don't
want
want
to
to
know
know. I'm
because
just,
it got something to
I'm
do with hormones.
concerned.
We don't need to know. We don't need to know that.
Yeah.
Let that rock.
He a stallionaire. He a stallionaire.
Yeah. But
Okay.
anyway, that's the video that went viral when he was with Jordan that propelled him to that whole tenderism thing. Him throwing the glasses with him and him hitting the table and stuff. That's what really made him famous. And
Hmm.
once that video went viral, a black lawyer went and got the copyright for it because he knew that it was gonna go big. So once he
Hmm.
purchased the copyright, he offered it to the guy. And he was like, "Oh no, I think you should just give it to the owners of the restaurant." Why? That's your tagline. That's
um,
like taking Bam from M. Lagasse or anybody else's tagline. Why would you not want ownership of your own tagline? So the guy's like, "You know what? I'm just gonna hold on to it, the lawyer, for you in case you change your mind, whatever." He's like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna change my mind." Fast forward to now, he gets fired by the owners of that restaurant. Now he has nothing.
Hmm.
He don't got his tagline. He don't have no restaurant no more. If he would have just had an entrepreneurial spirit or just got his own way, it's almost like a slave mentality. There's a quote from like
Mm.
Harriet Tubman that says, "I could have freed a lot more slaves if they only knew they were slaves."
yeah.
Mm.
Like imagine
Yeah.
they
I
tried to
mean,
help him.
and I think like that's just because I've seen that quite a bit in the older generation, especially like just in my family as well. That they get in a mindset and they don't know how to get out of it. Like you said, they don't even know. So
Mhm.
you can't you can fault him a little bit, but he's probably groomed into that mindset and just got used to living that way that he just didn't know what to do. And part of that is just not being educated all the way and understanding what was
Yeah.
happening, what could happen to him. Because from the outside looking at it, we all knew he was being exploited. Like
Yep.
that was easy to see, but he didn't see it. He was just happy, somebody gave him his credit, some attention, a little bit of
Yeah.
attention, and he was fine going about his business until it wasn't his business no more.
he wasn't missing nothing. That's why he wasn't worried about it. He wasn't
Yeah.
missing nothing. So the video I seen, whenever I caught on to that, the video I seen, the owner was he was telling the story about how they started the business. He didn't say that they bought it from someone. He said that he wanted to start a business. Him and the guy was friends, and he said the guy was showing him how to barbecue, how to cook meat and stuff like that. So he's like, man, we need to start a business. And he said they started the business together. And he said the guy went missing for a while. And he said, I don't know what happened with that, but he ended up coming back a few years later and we took off. Now what I gathered from that was Unc was probably on some drugs. He probably want to do some stuff that it was bad for business. And that was the guy trying to save face, not trying to say like, yo, he was strung out or whatever. He said it's a video. It's on his TikTok. You got to just go all the way down there to the bottom and watch it. Somebody actually sent it to me, and the guy was just talking about how they started their business. So when the guy came back and they took off, and the guy you said Jordan, he did put him in the spotlight, and people started going there, and the business just really took off. The day that Keith Lee went there, the owner was upset because he didn't know Keith Lee was there, which that's how Keith Lee moves. He don't never announce he's going to a place. He don't because
Which
he
is
want an
smart.
authentic experience. He don't want to say,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, I'm going to your spot where they can cook the best food, have everything like perfect," and he'll
Mm-hmm.
end up giving a false rating on their stuff. So he don't say when he's coming through. He just pop up. He don't even go in. He sends his sister in or his homeboy in, get the food, and they bring it back to the car. They all eat it in the car. Once he ate that food and seen it was straight, then he went in like, "Yo, let me holler at you, whatever." And I think the dude was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Nah, let's not do that." I don't think he. I wouldn't say it was a slave mentality, but hey, I don't know. I don't know the guy. I mean, everybody going to interpret it different, but I think where the things turned in that situation was Uncle was humble enough to play the background. But I think when he started seeing how the owner was talking, I think he was like, "Yeah, I got to get up out of here. I don't like this." Like, cause they never been in a situation like that. They was popular locally. That place not too far from where I live. It's
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
maybe 30 minutes in Marietta, but he was he was he was kind of humble about it. And then when the guy started having him on video with him to try to explain stuff, you could tell he was looking like he was kind of like not saying nothing, but in his mind he was ready to get away from that. The things I've been seeing lately, he's been doing okay. He went to Houston
Yeah.
and he been cooking out there, and I don't know, some people out there in Houston trying to help him set up. So
Yeah. And it may have been a thing where he basically, because if you work around people long enough, you know how they are. He probably already knew how the owner
Mm-hmm.
would have taken it, so he's trying to keep it low key, not make too big of a fuss about it. Because like you said, he's been working there for years. He probably just wanted to keep things copacetic, you know,
Mm-hmm.
status quo. But that jealous spirit to get you every time.
Yeah,
mm,
because he
That
got fired.
that green-eyed monster.
Mhm. When he looked is nervous behind what the owner was doing, and
Yeah.
it looked like he had been threatening him for a good while now. And what he
Mm-hmm.
should have did was just packed up his stuff and disappeared on his own. But we'll see what happens with him.
Mm.
I want to
Nothing but
kind of
blessings.
steer back a little bit to how Black culture is defined, because I feel like in other countries they think that Black culture is one thing, whilst we have a completely different ideal of what Black culture is. Our sense of Black culture is Black people are strong, they're survivors, we've endured all of this stuff, we're creative, we're inspirational, all these things. But what people see in other countries and stuff about us is, oh, they're lazy, or they ghetto, they talk, everybody's talking like this, there's a lot of broken homes and blah blah blah. This is the ideal that some people get. Then in some cultures, it's like everybody thinks of Beyonce or like Michael Jackson or something like that. They think everybody can sing and dance. That's what they know about Black people or Black Americans rather in other places. So I think it kind of really depends on where you are, because I think in America we define it, but in other places it's defined maybe based on what social media shows them or what they see on TV and in music and things like that.
Any culture is defined by media presence. So
Mm.
when you think about what America shows us of other countries, they don't show us the good things. They show us the worst things to make us feel like we don't want to be there. We good. We here. We don't want to be
Mhm.
there. We don't want to deal with that.
Mhm.
Over there is the same thing. They show you, they overseas they show you the racism, the inflation, the, you know what I'm saying. So you know,
Mhm.
in some countries, believe it or not, in some countries they don't look at black and white. They look over here at America, Americans. That's what they look at. They don't look at it black and white. Black and white really is just here, you know. And you'll go overseas and it's spotty, but it's there. Racism is pretty much everywhere, but it's not dominant overseas like it is here. So when you talk
Mhm.
about who defines it and what is black culture, we define it for us. You know, you could ask everybody on this panel what it is, and it'll all probably wrap up to, we just normal people like everybody else. Everybody's not hood, but everybody have the ability to get hood. You know, every black person
Mm.
True.
have the ability for it. You know what I'm saying? We try to stay
True.
away from that, but
Mhm.
it's there if we need it. You know what I'm saying? That energy is there if
Mhm.
we need it. So
Mhm.
we know that because we define it. But anybody else, when we walk into a room or a business, or they don't know. They don't know what we bring into the table. They don't know how we gonna act. You know,
Mhm.
because that's just how, black people are. You just don't know what you're going to get until you talk and you figure out the intelligence level, the interest level, like, you know what I'm saying. And that, and
Agreed.
that's and that's how we are with everyone else. It's just stereotypes out there, and that's what it is. And we
Mhm.
we are the ones that are judged by our least amount of stereotype. We are the ones. There's nobody else there's no other culture that gets judged by the least amount of, you know what I'm saying? Like if you think about Arabs, right? In America, you hear that they say, "Oh, terrorists," but that everybody over there is not
True.
a damn terrorist. Like you got to know this. You have to know that.
Mhm.
If you don't, then we can't talk. It's not even a discussion to be had. But when they look at us, it's just the presence that's pushed forward. How many black people are graduating college? How many black people are starting businesses, big and small? How many black millionaires
Mhm.
they have? They never talk about that, unless those people are leading in some entertainment or something, or they being
You're right.
used. That's never talked about. We have the most graduating, and it's black women. We have the most graduating out
Yep.
of college, and that never gets talked about ever. But anytime a woman decides to jump on a table at brunch and shake her ass, that's what they put on TV. That's
Right.
what they show the
Mhm.
world. That's what they show us. And we got to sit here like that's one person. That's not even happening 100 times in this country right now at this moment.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
one that you
Mhm.
caught, and we're gonna have to watch this for the next year. You know what I'm saying? There's
Mhm.
there's people that are actually scared of us and say there's a guy, he said like a white person is more 40% more likely to get killed by a black person. Black people do not go around killing white people. That's not happening. It's not. This black
Mhm.
dude, I know y'all seen this video. This black dude, he just stabbed this woman on this train or bus or whatever, and that went viral. Everybody was like, well, "Where's the outrage? Where's that?
Right.
Show me 10 more videos like that. Show me five. You don't
Mhm.
have, so that one. You want everybody to fall out of shape behind that one. I'm not saying it's right. It
Mhm.
go wrong, but give that man the same grace you give to any other culture that do that. He could be crazy. It could be mental. Let's see.
You're right.
Where's the rest of the video? Like, We could play that game. We don't, but we could play that game. But it's all about the media presence. It's all about what they put out there as what black culture is. We only define black culture for ourselves. We can't define it for the rest of the world. No matter how many no matter how many normal black people there are, it's never gonna
Mm-hmm.
outweigh the ghetto because that's the stereotype that rides on all of our back right now.
The problem
Mm-hmm.
is though here, because we are not in control of the media, that's the narrative that keeps being played over and over and over again. If there was a paradigm shift and we had control over the media, then we would have the opportunity to add some truth to what story is being told about us. But because we have no actual real seat at the table, the actual story that's being told about us is whatever they want to present. So in some ways, I like to think in my heart, yes, okay, we are in control of the narrative that's being told about us. We are in somewhat defining our culture, but then again, we're not, because what the public is seeing, the perception of us, is through the eyes of somebody who doesn't look like me. That's the story that's being told. That's why when I'm in rooms of people who don't look like me, they're already coming up with all of these other conjured stories in their minds about who they think I am before I even open my mouth, before, they know what my name is. They have an assumption of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
So as
fact.
much as in my head I want to pretend that I control something about myself, I don't. So that's why I love, like, even my real name is a very generic sounding name, and I love to keep that because when people see it, they don't know what to expect. So they don't get the chance to build up preconceived notions about, oh, this person may be ghetto or they have this or that and the third. And I'm able to remain somewhat neutral before a person, will meet me. And so that way I'm able to come into a space, in somewhat a neutral territory, as opposed to if I had what society would consider like a ghetto name per se, then they already build up, okay, this person might be difficult or they're going to have an attitude
Mm,
or whatever the case may be, unfortunately, because of who controls the media.
Mm-hmm.
that's a fact.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Okay, I have a question. So,
Mhm.
who taught you what Black culture is? Like, where did you learn what makes up Black culture?
I think for us, it was a lot more like growing up, it was a lot more gratitude for just being like a black person. You were forced to do like Martin Luther King, projects and like, okay, let's try to find a historic black figure. I don't think it's pushed as much now, but I think for us it's just having that willingness to independently search for somebody that you like are interested in. Like, it's so many different people that you don't see, but if you have a computer, have the resources to learn about somebody, then that's kind of like, this person looks like me. That's empowering. I like stuff like that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I would say school, but school has changed so much from what it is now. I
Yeah.
think that history is changing, like just how they plan on teaching kids in a way that isn't really focused on Black history. So it's just different. To me, it's always been school though.
Okay.
I'll say try to stay with me on this. I don't think all of us growing up, I don't think we knew what black culture was. I think we were just living life. We were just growing. We were
Mm,
just kids in the moment. And by the time we were teenagers, we caught on to like, oh, that's culture. That's what that is. Um,
mm,
Me and G, we
Mm-hmm.
we cousins. We actually cousins and first cousins. And we
okay.
didn't grow up together. I'm a little older than him, but I grew up with his mom. And I know everybody know the movie House Party, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
His mom and my aunt Jerry, they used to throw house parties like once a month. My grandma would let them throw parties, and I was a little kid. I'm talking about 5 years old, 6 years old, and I'm running around the house while they. I'm talking about all these friends from high school was in the house, and
Mhm.
it's some extracurriculars going on. It's you know, so little recreational stuff being passed around. Like it's a lot. It's a lot going on,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
you know, it's like just I remember that. I remember a lot of things from when I was a kid, but just like once you see stuff on TV and they tell you this is culture, then you kind of realize, man, that's life. That was life for me. That wasn't
Mhm.
True.
something that I had to adopt. It was something I was raised in.
Mhm.
Just the food we ate, the like we, I'm from Southwest Louisiana, and I remember my great grandma in the house I was raised in. It was my great grandma, my grandma, my grandma's sister, my two aunts, and my cousins, Colby and Jamal. That was our house, and we stayed in a big double wide trailer. We didn't. It was a house to us. I didn't look at it like that. But I remember just the food, right? Um, Grandma cooking gumbo, my great grandma making pecan candy. Like she would make it, like she would put it together, make it, and put it on the cabinet, like wipe the cabinet down, put it on the cabinet till it solidifies. Just old school stuff. And as
Mhm.
they used to have a man pass in the neighborhood. We call him the fruit man. He got fruit in the back of his truck. Like, you know what I'm saying? We buy fruit off the fruit truck, sugar
Mhm.
cane, stuff like that. And it's like when people talk about stuff like that, I'm like, man, that was my life. Like y'all putting this out there, like, oh, that's the trenches. That's my life. That's what made me who I am today. You know what I'm saying? So I think when we were younger, we didn't really know, like, we kind of absorbed it from our mom, dad, aunts, uncles, playing outside with our friends, stuff like, kids don't do that today. They don't play outside.
Yeah.
Right.
You remember the cool drink lady y'all had? She had the little cups.
Yeah, yeah. See?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's stuff
Hmm.
like that. Whereas when a kid, you don't even realize that's culture. You don't even realize. You think that everybody's living like that, and it's not. The people on the
Yeah.
other side of town ain't living like that. You know what I'm saying? They got a whole different culture than you. So by the time you become a teenager, you become aware. Listening to music. My papa, my grandma's husband, he had this tall stereo. You remember the stereos with the glass door? Remember
Yeah.
that?
Uh-huh.
You
Hmm.
Mhm.
had the
As
stereo, you
well.
had the cassette, you had the 8 track, and then you had the record player on top. He had
Uh-huh.
all that. He had all that. He had the bar. He had a bar in the house. So it was cornered off, where whenever my Aunt Sharon and Jerry would throw parties, they'd be behind the bar. They had speakers. They had the speakers lit up on the bar. This shit is old, man. This is like they probably had that from the 70s, but this is the late 80s. And that's what I'm saying. That was culture. That was stuff like you would see it on a movie, you'll see it on something like Snowfall, right? And I'm like, they had it like that out there in Cali? Because I know how we had it, you know what I'm saying? So I think that most of us got the culture from our parents and our aunts and uncle, whoever raised you. That's your direct link to culture.
Mhm.
Um,
Fact.
Go
I know
ahead.
for I know for me, like I boil it down simply to environment. Um, and I agree with Pick. Like, you don't realize it as you're younger because you're just growing. But like, for me personally, like, we had every day after school, coming home from school, I knew everybody in the neighborhood was coming to my yard because we had a basketball goal. We out there 4 or 5 hours. Um, and then I recognized
Yes,
it more
sir.
because as I grew up and got to middle school, like my elementary school, predominantly black. You got the middle school, way more diverse. And you just start noticing the differences. Like, okay,
Mhm.
this stuff that only people that look like me do. Okay. Th- This
Mhm.
stuff that they understand, what they recognize. And you become more socially and more self-aware, so you start to cherish those things. Like you get excited, you about to have that family reunion or that cookout where everybody's gonna be at. You know, you're gonna have that drunk uncle. You're gonna have the folks playing spades or bid whisk or whatever game they like to. Um, over there talking trash. You're gonna have somebody on that grill that know how to grill, the grill master.
Mhm.
You
But the
you're gonna
sound is
have the
on.
weed smokers taking that. The toes out.
Toes out.
Lord.
Yeah,
And
I second that too. I feel like, especially for us growing up, like we had a unique experience of going to an elementary school where the principal was black. So she really like prioritized us heavy into black experience and black culture. Like I remember
Mhm.
dressing up in like African garb and like having like this really Afrocentric like experiences as a little kid, and like I guess not fully even understanding it, but just like we had a creed that we had to read, you know, and recite about like affirmations and self-worth and like all of this stuff, like all these really really heavy foundational elements that she, you know, enforced in us as, you know, in elementary school, because that's the kind of person, you know, that she was as the principal. So once I got to junior high school and I was kind of ripped out of that sort of environment and I was in a much more diverse neighborhood, I realized right away that I was in a totally non, you know, like heavily black experience culture environment where I was just being introduced to so many other different people and cultures that things were drastically different. So I would have to say yes. Of course, I feel like I got a lot of it from just at home, being at home in a home environment, but I had a lot of reinforcement of it just right away from being, you know, in elementary school and that experience.
um, and I will say, like to her, what she just said. This is one of the best superpowers I think us as Black people have. We are the best code switchers, no matter what environment we're in, and that's
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
exactly
Yes.
that. Our
Mhm.
adaptability second to none because we're self-aware. We know, and so we can code switch no matter where we're at, who we're around, and we just understand.
Mhm. I definitely want to talk more about the code switching thing
That's what I
in
said.
in
Like
in a
Mm.
little bit.
you get hood, it can get
That's
hood
yeah, because I
if
think
you
that's
get.
a important part of Black culture. Um, so I want to segue a little bit and talk about Southern versus Northern Black culture.
Mm.
Um, especially being from America, it's kind of it could be kind of similar, and then it could be like complete opposites because we got the best of both worlds because
Mm.
we're up north, but all our family is from the south. So we grew up with you having the cookouts and stuff like that. Every year you're going to family reunions, things like that. And for Christmas and Thanksgiving, everybody gathering together at somebody's house. Before she died, it was my great grandmother's house. And, everybody's just always getting together and spending time, like you said, the spades and doing this and that. That's
Punk,
just was part of
peanut.
our culture. But being from New York, they don't really do that. Like they don't like people hang out and stuff like that, but it's not in the same way. Like you have block parties and stuff like that, which is a fun thing to do in the summer. Everybody hangs out on each other's stoops. You jump rope, you do double dutch, stuff like that. People be shooting dice and stuff on the street.
Oh,
It's just a real New York aesthetic. It's different from just being in the South. I think in the South it's more closer with family ties, maybe, where like maybe
mm.
you're having family meals and stuff together, things like that. Like you go into people's house, and I think it's more of a hangout thing for
Ain't nothing
northern
wrong with a good
people.
old ditch. I ain't got no
It,
ditches up north.
we ain't got ditches up here, but we
I
have we have
know.
them down south. We ain't got no ditches.
you
Boy, you random as
you
hell,
you
boy.
jump over you jump over that ditch. It was a contest to see who could jump over the ditch the
We used
farthest.
to
Like,
do that
okay.
too, but I used to be
Yeah.
scared
Hmm.
there would be like a water moccasin or something in there, and ain't
Yeah.
nobody got time for that.
Mm-mm.
Definitely don't
was
have time for that.
we was like Rambo when it came to being outside, boy. We had rain boots, man, to the knee. We was outside. Get stung by
Yeah,
wasps.
we would be outside too, but we're doing like what is it when you have the chalk and you do and what is it? Hopscotch. We were doing hopscotch.
Okay.
We did a lot of double dutch. We
Red
were
light, green light.
skating red light, green light. We're outside doing like numbers,
Oh.
other hand games and stuff like that.
Wicked.
That's what we're doing. We're playing
Y'all play
handball.
two square and four
Re-
square.
what is two
Mm.
square and
You know,
four square?
difference from the northerners versus the southerners. Like we got different terms for stuff. The games that we play is
So
different.
Yeah.
two square was like just one versus one. Four square was like so like if you was in the street, and like if you had like a concrete street and it was blocked off, like the way they lay the concrete is in sections. So if you meet where they have a cross, like a cross is
Right.
four square. So it's like tennis almost, two versus two, and you play it like with a dodgeball or a kickball.
Oh, yeah, we can
Just
do that.
How
you ever
that?
do that?
Yeah.
Man, listen, that's culture. That's culture,
Y'all
man.
gonna have
Like
Yeah.
to y'all gonna have to play that one.
Yeah, we did
maybe
red
it's
light, green light. We
You
played
play like
tag.
handball? Y'all play
Mm-hmm.
handball? No.
Handball,
we didn't play it. We
yeah.
heard of
Yeah.
it, but we didn't play it.
Yeah. Know about
We
that.
didn't play it.
Yeah. But that's more
Handball is
so.
fun.
Even with G said like
It's more so.
we had a ditch in front of our house. So we had a ditch and then we had the train track, right? And we used to
Mhm.
anytime it would rain, that ditch would fill with water, we'd be in there. And my papa would always say, y'all better get out that ditch. A Lampita gonna get you. I still to this day never seen a
What's
lamp.
a lampita?
I don't know what it is.
You don't know what it
I
is.
don't know
What's
what
a
it is to this
lampita?
day. I never seen one, but I'm afraid of him. I
I'd
know
be
that.
scared of snakes in
Mhm.
those ditches. Mm-mm.
We would never worry about it because we never seen one.
It's
But
so
he
it's
kept
so
talking about
different
a
in the
lamp
South.
feeder, and I was
I
like, hold
seen
on,
them.
man. I don't want that to
Mm-mm.
get a hold of me. Stay out that
I
ditch.
remember visiting at one time and I woke up to a chicken. I said, "What is going on?" It was a rooster, my fault. I woke up to a rooster,
Oh,
bruh. It was real. It was real.
Mm,
yeah, it's a
mm,
completely different like lifestyle
Hmm.
being in the South from being in the North. Just
Yeah.
completely
mm,
different.
I think the biggest difference because we got family all over. I think the
Hmm.
biggest difference is the money. See, down
Yeah.
south, you learn to do more with less, and that's
Hmm.
from food to what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that like up north people weren't poor, but if they took that same money they had up north and bought it down south, they was rich.
You're right.
That's a
So I,
fact.
I think, yeah,
Mhm.
I think the difference was money, and I think the difference was whereas y'all said New York, I know about New York and the boroughs and the parties and everything. Really
Mhm.
is exposes you to a lot quicker in the city.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like the city is unforgiving, man. It's dangerous. Down south, we didn't have that danger factor. We didn't have that. Everything was just
Mhm.
easy, like laid back. The biggest problem down south that you could get exposed to early was something sexual. That was the biggest problem. Like, cause
Mm.
that's the southern thing, man. Like people be learning about sex early. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They early teens, like, maybe even low as
Mhm.
12. Like, because
Mhm.
it's so country, it's so laid back.
Yeah.
And I'm not and like I say, I'm not saying it didn't happen up north or whatever, but down
right.
south it was a give me. Like it was there. But
Mhm.
Mhm.
the city life moves so fast, man. Like it's so much, you had people making money at a young age, you know,
It's a whole
in
nother
in
pace.
in the
Yeah, so
city. Down south, if you had to
Mhm.
make money as a youth, it was probably through drugs. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's just
Mhm.
I think the only difference was the money. The culture definitely different, but I think it was the money. I think like I say, the South just did more with less. You know, the region had certain food like we could do that. We could you couldn't really grill like that in a Chicago or Detroit or something like that. But down south, you could grill. You if you started your pit, your neighbor will come and put some meat on your grill. Hey man, I could throw
Mhm.
some on the grill. Yeah man,
Oh,
bring it. Pause.
Yeah,
But
that's a
they would do that. They would do that.
my girl.
Man,
That's
listen,
Mhm.
a
like you would fire up the grill and you don't want to let that fire go to waste. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's
Yeah.
true.
Some
no.
people in the street had some food that they could cook for the week. Hey, man, yeah, bring it on down. Like that's just how it was.
It's
I
a
got
lot
some
more.
I got some family in Chicago. They when they would come down, they would never they would say that like, man, y'all, this how y'all live, this what y'all do. Man, we gotta eat, man. Like, how y'all cook y'all food? I mean, if we grill,
Mm.
we do gas. Like, I didn't know nothing about gas grilling. Like, I didn't know nothing about propane and all that. We charcoal and and wood. So when they came down, he's like, oh man, I don't know about this. But they ate that, and
Yeah.
then it was like, oh man, this is the way to go. But they can't do that in the big city. Like, they have a
Yeah.
whole different ordinance than us. Like,
Mhm.
we come down south and we popping fireworks. They like, man, we can't
Uh-huh.
even do that in the
Yeah, it's
city, man.
illegal here. Can't have no
See,
fireworks.
Mhm.
Don't say
They
them
don't
city
even
so
on
sell them in New York. If you want them, you have to go into Jersey and like illegally bring them over the state line.
and
Can't
see,
do
no,
that.
and
you would think y'all ain't got too much trees and stuff. Like, it's a lot of dry trees and grass around here, and well, not around here, but down south, and they still sell them. You can still buy them.
People be blowing up
I-
their hands and stuff like that.
they just
Mm-mm.
don't know what to do with life. But I say for me, like I know one big difference is like going back to what G said, waking up the chickens. Like being from the South, like I know, like if I wake up to hear random animals or see a random animal, it's normal. No offense, aside from rats, there's no really wild animals up.
That's
up.
a lie. Oh my god.
Them
Now
rats got jobs. Them ain't wild rats. They go to work.
What you talking
They
about
go to work
is
like everybody else.
Manhattan.
Oh.
Manhattan. We have different boroughs.
wildlife.
Personally, we live
I
in the
said,
suburbs. New York is not all tall buildings,
I
concrete
just
streets.
said, like,
Please,
but like
please.
I know for me, like it's been days. Like I know I stayed at a house back when I was in Fayetteville. And like I woke up one day, it was like 3 turkeys just chilling in the backyard. And I'm not talking like no small turkeys. I'm talking about the turkeys they show with the pilgrims, just sitting there, just chilling.
We have raccoons and stuff in the backyard. We have raccoons. We have
Yeah, you'd be
owls.
surprised.
We have
Like
hawks. Like
canes
we
and
we have
all
nature
types of
here.
stuff up here.
We have grass and
I
trees.
feel like New
Y'all
York
rats
probably
Don't
in New York.
has more
stereotype.
style. Nope, nobody has more style than up north. I could say that.
We the trendsetters up here.
I mean, I
Yeah.
ain't
That's
say
a
all
fact.
that. I mean, y'all got style,
100. That's a fact.
you know.
It starts up here and then it trickles down.
That's
We getting
true because a
leftovers.
lot of
We
things
getting
we get
leftovers.
before they get down there. It's just like
Yeah.
it'll
Damn.
premiere or it'll come out up here and then it just
Look,
six,
I'll
7
agree.
months later it'll go down there.
I'll give you a
Even
perfect
movie
example.
premieres.
Now that's not to say the South ain't without style. We got our own style.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No shade.
No shade.
influence definitely come, especially if you're talking about like hip hop. The influence do
Yeah.
come. You got to
Yeah.
think about like Wu Tang. Wu Tang is the biggest
Mm.
influential group out of all rap, bro. When you started seeing how they was dressed, the starter jackets, the bubble coats, the Tims, like, you know what I'm saying, baggy jeans, like that's what everybody
Mhm.
started to follow. That didn't start down south. We took
Yeah.
it in a different direction, but that came from up north, bro. Like, I that's one
Mhm.
thing I will like. New York is very trendy, man. Very
Yeah.
trendy.
Hmm.
It's just a certain swag that New Yorkers have. People
Yeah,
always know, like when we go down there, they always know right away. Like, y'all ain't
Straight
from
up.
here. Like, how you know? What you
she
mean we
like
not from there? You didn't even hear me
We
like
talk yet.
you look at New York and see the gold chains, the gold. They do have rings on all their fingers like that. That come from there, and it kind of swept west, hit Chicago,
Yeah.
hit Detroit. But when we got it, we start getting the gold teeth. We got the gold teeth. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yeah.
Busting up with the earrings because at one point in time,
Mhm.
men wouldn't wear 2 earrings. They're like, nah, we ain't gonna get into that. But y'all know what they were saying about a man wearing 2 earrings. That was a
Yeah.
thing back then. But
Mhm.
down south, it's like, nah, if I'm gonna get some earrings, I want two. I want both of them. I want 1 carat, 2 carat. Like that's just how it
Mhm.
was. Like it became we put our own spin on it, but yeah, New York definitely leading in trends, man, because I mean, it's the Big Apple, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's so many brands up there. It's so much culture just there, right?
Mm.
And that's a
Mhm.
place. That's a place in the United States that everybody can't go or won't go. Like me, I have no desire to go to New York. Beautiful city, you know what I'm saying? I see it for what it is, but just the rats in the snow. I don't want none of it. I don't want
Mm.
none. I don't.
I can't
But
No
remember
rats.
the last time I seen a rat would be on TV.
Mhm.
Or
Right.
actually, when I was going to Hunter College in Manhattan, the big rats are all focused in Manhattan. It's not in the other boroughs,
Oh, okay.
and
So
only
Mm-mm.
what's
usually
the best
tourists are in
what's the best
Manhattan.
borough?
Well,
Uh,
I'm a Brooklynite.
You know they're gonna say
Oh.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, I was about to say they
Mm.
gonna say where they from.
The
Yeah.
other boroughs can't even talk. Brooklyn.
I
It's
see
all about
that.
Brooklyn.
They gonna say where
I'm
they
just
from.
well, that's what I would say. What I would say is not what she would say necessarily.
no,
See,
no, not at all.
that's what I would say because I was born and bred in Brooklyn. But that ain't
Usually,
what she would
what
say.
is the best one?
So
I
go
don't know that I
ahead.
feel like there's a best one because I might be from New
Mm.
York, but that don't mean I like New York. I'm from
Okay.
New
Mm.
York. I feel like there's the best borough. I feel like they all bad.
Oh.
No best.
So so would you rep New York or what would you rep if you had to
I'm
say like yeah?
I'm always rep it because that's where I'm from, but I'm not gonna say one is better than the other per se. I feel like New York is just New York, you know.
Okay.
But see,
I
she
feel
can say that she's from there. On the
Yeah.
Yeah.
outside in, you gotta people looking at it like that. Like, what is the Bronx? What is everybody looking at it like that? But when you there,
The
it's
Bronx
like
is
Jay
the
Z
most
said.
if we're gonna
Like
say
Jay Z said,
the low
you can make
Bronx.
it here, you can make it anywhere. New Yorkers
That's a
really
fact.
have that mentality. You know what I'm saying? Because of the culture and what they go
We
through.
soldiers. We
Yeah.
call ourselves soldiers here because you have to every day is a day of survival. Because so much is
Mm.
thrown at us that it's just like unnatural. So we call ourselves
That's
soldiers.
smart.
so y'all be no
Yeah.
limit soldiers?
Possibly. But
Nah, y'all don't know nothing about 3,000 degrees. Y'all ain't no limit
Bruh.
soldiers. Y'all don't know about that. Y'all don't
No.
know about that. Pick might know something about that, but y'all don't know nothing about that.
We're all about that.
Yeah.
No.